I think this is a thing that no one talks about when they talk about health, is that we love before and after pictures. We love seeing people before and after and how their bodies change, but we don't acknowledge the time that is in between and the struggle and the journey and the pain. And I'm going to tell you, it's a very painful process and you grieve a lot of things through it. And I'm sick of going through that process. And I just learned that process is going to be quite a bit longer for me. And I don't know where I'm at right now.
Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we are going to be talking about Anna O'Brien, or Glitter and Lasers. She recently actually got lipedema surgery, which is something that she's been talking about a lot on her social media platforms. And she released a video where she was where she goes over the process that she went through to basically be approved for the surgery and end up having this surgery. And in this video, it's very interesting seeing the process and how it kind of played out. But then on top of it, it's interesting seeing the differences in Anna from a few months ago when she was running this 5K and was all about being as active as possible, and how, like, you know, her size won't stop her and she's still super active and none of that stuff matters. And, you know, anyone that had anything negative to say about that were basically haters, to where we are now, where it seems like it's almost flipped completely on the other side, where it's like the lipedema has completely taken over her life. Now she has zero mobility, she can barely move, and that's why she needs this surgery. There's quite a big difference from a few months ago to where we are now. So this is the video that we're going to be talking about right here. So it's titled, "It's Worse Than I Thought." We're not going to watch the whole video. I have time-stamped a couple of the, I think, important parts that make a little bit of sense. But without further ado, let's just get into it. The first portion that we're going to be talking about is her just kind of going over the surgery and the kind of the details of what it's going to look like.
This condition. Okay, so I'm here in Los Angeles and I'm a little nervous right now because I'm going to my first appointment.
I just have to say, this reminds me of like the old Chris Crocker videos of like "Leave Britney Alone." I don't know exactly why she has this thing right behind her, but that's the first thought that I had when I saw it.
With a lipedema removal specialist in Los Angeles to see if I'm ready to start that process. From what I know and what I've seen, this process might take up to 2 years for me. And in talking with my other medical team members, they think that it's best for me and my health to start the process now. So I just got back from my doctor's appointment, and I'm going to be really honest with you, I'm still really processing everything.
So I do want to say, just before we get into this, there is a lot of crying in this video. So if that's not something that you like to watch, I understand. It's hard for me to, I don't really love watching it, but there is a lot of crying in this video. So just be warned.
For the last 6 months, I've had a lot of trouble losing weight. My body's changed, but I haven't lost weight, and I had started to really punish myself for it, reducing calories further, working out more. It wasn't healthy. And
so I think that I'm assuming, you know, in the last 6 months, she's probably thinking about her 5K that she did, right? And it's interesting because a lot of the quote unquote criticism that a lot of people were said to be mean was that maybe that was quote unquote too much, and trying to force herself to run was maybe a little bit too much. That was something that I definitely said, and I'm sure a lot of other people said. But now it's like, it's just interesting because now she goes to a doctor who maybe she respects a little bit more. And now it's like, I was doing way too much and now I regret everything that I was doing. Very interesting, kind of, again, flipping on how she felt from before, right?
And I saw my obesity doctor, and she was like, well, maybe we need to try a different medication. Maybe we need to do these things. And so we had proceeded down that path, and I still really haven't been having like tons of results, but we knew that it might take time. Today, meeting with the lipedema specialist, and I'm sorry, I'm like halfway between crying and not crying all through this, so this is gonna be a mess, but I'm gonna have to have a lot of surgeries to get it removed. And I've kind of been lying to myself a little bit about the pain that I experience on a day-to-day basis, or I've been trying to live through the pain, ignore the pain. I've, in a lot of ways, failed to acknowledge that pain. And when he was like prodding me to feel for the lipedema, because they do like a full, like, feel you up to feel it inside your body. It just was in a lot of places, and I allowed myself to feel that hurt, and it just is like really exciting, but also like really scary, and I feel like mad at myself for being so hard on myself. I just feel a lot of things right now, and I had all these big plans the day it was gonna go, and instead I'm gonna just sit here with this because I feel like I'm mourning. I feel sad, and I guess I should feel happy because I know I'm not crazy, and it's not because I'm not working hard enough or I'm not eating right. But at the same time,
okay, so I think that there can be two things true at the same time. I think like with what we've seen in the recent videos, right, with like the whole bagel gate, if that's what you want to call it, and all of those things, I think that Anna has done better in the past of maybe handling her food and different things of that nature as far as and exercise and stuff. And I think recently it seemed that Anna has decided that this is something that is completely out of her control, and it's not something that she can really make any changes on. And I think I don't really like going down that road, that path. I understand lipedema makes these things more difficult, but I definitely don't think that it makes it impossible. And it seems like, again, it's just so strange going from a few months ago where Anna was like, I'm going to take control. This stuff doesn't have any, it doesn't have a hold on me. I can make all these changes, to now it's like, I had no control over it, and it's completely out of my control, and nothing that I was doing, even if I was doing everything completely perfectly to the T, I wouldn't have lost any weight or started to feel any better. I don't know. I just feel like completely taking all of the responsibility and putting it on something else doesn't end up helping in the long run.
This is going to be several years to resolve, and it's going to be very, very expensive, and it's just a lot. It's just a lot to take on. And, well, there's a lot of hope at the end of the tunnel. It was more today than I thought. I guess I just want to be at the end. I'm sick of going through it. I'm just really sick of going through it. And I think this is a thing that no one talks about when they talk about health, is that we love before and after pictures. We love seeing people before and after and how their bodies change, but we don't acknowledge the time that is in between, and the struggle and the journey and the pain. And I'm going to tell you, it's a very painful process, and you grieve a lot of things through it. And I'm sick of going through that process. And I just learned that process is going to be quite a bit longer for me. And I don't know where I'm at right now.
So, I mean, I think that there's definitely plenty of people that talk about their journey from quote unquote before and after. I think it seems like what I am picking up from Anna here is that I think she was hoping that she was going to go into this meeting, and then that she was going to be told, we're going to fix this in this session. We're going to take it all out, or this next surgery that we have is going to be the end all be all. And I think it's like realizing that it's going to take some time, and it's going to take some effort, and it's not going to be completely easy. And maybe that's a little bit hard to deal with, but yeah, it's just like this complete shift from where we were before a few months ago to where we are now is a little bit strange. This next part of the video, Anna is kind of talking about the doctor that she ended up choosing, but also starts really kind of focusing on how much the lipedema has really affected her mobility, especially recently. Now, this is, again, very interesting because a few months ago, Anna was doing 5Ks. She was talking about how, like, she can still do all of these things. A lot of her posts were all about how she could do all of these things. She could go travel and do all this stuff. And then now we are completely switching to now I can barely move. And again, it's just a really big change. So this is the next portion of that video, kind of talking about those things.
I ultimately decided to go with Dr. David Amron at the Roxbury Institute, who runs the Advanced Lipedema Treatment Program. There's a lot of reasons why. Again, we'll address that in a later video. As part of getting lipedema covered by insurance, one of the things they really like stress to you, is that you're able to articulate how much the condition has affected your life. So in order to kind of do that and show you guys on video, we went to a gym where I was staying in New York for something totally unrelated to this, and just filmed some issues that I'm currently having with mobility. Now, if you watch my last video, you know that when I was on Wegovy, it did help my inflammation a lot. So I did have a little bit, like actually a lot more mobility and less pain, but coming off of it has kind of really exposed how bad the condition is affecting the actual underlying, fabric of my life. And
so basically it seems that what's happening here is that to get insurance to want to cover this surgery, you have to kind of prove to them that the condition is really affecting your life significantly, right? It's affecting your mobility, which I think if you were to send the insurance the videos from like a few months ago, they'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, that's insane. And so I think it's like, we need to film these things and make it seem, or make it show how much the mobility is affected. Again, just a complete shift from just a couple months ago, right?
And the reality is like eventually the Wegovy will not be able to help solve this problem. So we need to deal with it before it gets to that point. So we did our own like kind of little video assessment. 2 weeks ago, I could easily do this, but in coming off the medication, I can't even do the pose anymore. So that sucks. I knew I needed to film this just so I could see the progress after surgery, but I didn't realize how much it would hurt. I think I was in denial about how bad it was because I had a magic cure. I guess it wasn't so magical, but it gave me some of my mobility back.
So what she's saying here is that when she was on Wegovy, that was the thing that really helped her have all of this mobility, right? It reduced a lot of her inflammation, and that was the thing that was helping a lot. People would argue that maybe it was the fact that weight loss was happening and there was more movement happening, but
But going off it has taught me that I can't hide the fact that my body is not okay. Everywhere there's lipedema feels like a bruise right now.
This next part of the video is actually where she meets with an occupational therapist that works with the doctor that she is going to be getting this surgery with. And in that meeting, it's basically what we just saw, but a little bit more official, going over, how much has lipedema actually affected your life? So it's a little bit more official with this occupational therapist to be able to message the insurance and be like, see, look how much it's affected your life. That's why you need to be able to cover this, because it's, obviously such a huge deal that they're dealing with.
For a couple days, we were able to get some support from Dr. Amron's team and to actually meet with an occupational therapist who specializes in basically writing to insurance the ways that your mobility and quality of life has been affected by lipedema. So that took us through a definitely more formal process. I'm just gonna let you guys watch it. It was a very hard experience for me. And I think if you're going through this process and you decide to do something like this assessment to help with your insurance, just know going into it that it will shock you and it will be hard.
So I don't know what has been explained to you as far as the functional capacity eval goes, but the purpose is great. Then this will give me a chance to kind of explain what we're doing. So the purpose is so we can see if you have any functional limitations because of the lipedema. So we're going to be looking at things like your range of motion, your strength, cardiovascular fitness, how your body composition is, meaning like, are your feet flat? Are you getting enough range of motion at the knee? What is that looking like in terms of hip and back? That kind of stuff, because they're all linked together. If one is off, it can affect the alignment down the line.
After she explains what the whole thing is that she's doing, she has her go through a couple different exercises, and some of them are relatively simple. So she has her doing this where she is just kind of standing with her hands on her chest and just standing up and down, right, for a few minutes. And again, Anna's kind of just talking about how it's difficult for her, it's hard for her to do. And then again, we have another one where she's like holding her hands in a specific way to, I don't even honestly exactly know what they are testing. But then this next one that Anna shares is her just kind of walking back and forth, right? And Anna kind of has a little bit of a meltdown here as well. I do think that it takes a lot of balls to film this in a public gym because there's like this woman over here working out, and I can imagine that this was probably a quite a strange sight, especially with how much Anna ends up crying in this. But she's kind of doing this walking thing, and it ends up affecting her quite a bit here. So let's go ahead and check this one out.
Motion as well as my strength. Third thing I noticed is, especially being off the Wegovy, is that my joints were a little bit more hyperextended, and that I was starting to cheat back how I used to walk, which is locking my legs and hyperextending so that I don't have to distribute the weight on my knee at all.
You're doing awesome. You're almost in a minute.
Amazing. This is the one thing I feel like I can do.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really hit me until a mile in that I hurt real bad. It's weird, it's that mile marker that typically does it.
So at this point in the walking exercise, and I had been feeling great, like I was freaking crushing it. This is where the physical therapist tells me that my gait is incorrect, that I've regressed. And as you can see, I don't take it well. In fact, you don't really see this, but I actually asked the cameras to be stopped, and I just uncontrollably slobbed in the corner for a little while because it really sucked. That moment probably hurt the most because I knew there were other issues, but I still believed I had that one thing. And then I realized I didn't.
It's okay to feel sad.
I just feel like in like 1 month, everything sucks again. But it also just means I've been masking a lot of stuff, so.
Yeah.
I think this moment, and this is why I'm sharing this video, was the moment that I realized that I wasn't crazy for doing the surgery. I had emotionally been going through a lot of different things, you know.
So it's just interesting because I don't, like, saying I'm not crazy for doing the surgery. I haven't really seen many people saying that, like, Anna doesn't have lipedema. I think that's obviously very clear. I would be surprised if people were even saying that she shouldn't get this surgery. I think it makes sense, especially with lipedema. It makes it very significantly harder to lose. The lipedema fat's basically almost impossible from what I understand, as far as just from normal exercise, you know, and weight loss, regular weight loss measures. And so it's just strange because it feels like there's this thing with the weight that even if you have lipedema, there are things that you can do to help with that. I mean, we've seen that with Anna herself, right? She has lost a good amount of weight from before, but it feels like it's almost like she has found something that now is an excuse as to why it is impossible for her to do anything, and this surgery is the only way forward. And now it's almost like she's taken a step back from all of the other stuff that she had been saying for literal years, saying like, I'm going to work through this. I don't care what anyone says. All the haters that say I'm pushing too hard, or I shouldn't be running, or I shouldn't be jumping, or I shouldn't be doing these things. I'm going to do them anyways. And now we are, because is beneficial for this surgery, it's like, you know what, actually I can barely walk and I can't even sit in this pigeon pose anymore. Again, it's just very, to me, obvious that there seems to be a shift because it is beneficial for her in the long run. So again, she's just kind of upset that she is struggling with this, but then again, she's here in this public gym kind of talking to this occupational therapist, and this is towards the end of the video now.
It's a little sore, which is weird. I mean, I know I've said this to you because you don't know me, but the degradation in what I can do is really overwhelming for me. About 2 days ago, I tried to do pigeon pose, a stretch that I really
like. I mean, I know that I'm nitpicking a little bit, but why not at least try to get this other person out of the camera, out of the field of view? Why not at least just stand a little bit, like have the cameraman? I don't understand. Like it just feels unnecessary. Like just move a little bit over so this person is not in your video. I don't.
Used to love, and I physically can't even get my body into it anymore.
Okay.
I said this to my friend the other night, but I think it's the reality of it. I'm sorry, you're not my therapist, and now you're.
No, you know what? I am a therapist. I'm an occupational therapist. So
There you go. I think I got very lucky that Wegovy helped me so much with inflammation and pain. But I'm kind of glad that this is happening because it makes me realize I do really need to do the surgery now. Because I am an incredibly active person, and to see this much mobility, and I'm sure there's patients who are in worse states than I am, but like for me, this is a huge step down from where I was just like a month ago.
I think it's normal. It sounds to me like you're grieving the loss of your mobility or what you thought you had gained, and I think that that's a normal reaction. And I've seen your Instagram page and how much fun that you have on there.
But I can't even do that anymore. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's part of me being taken away.
Yeah. Lymphedema's taken a lot from you, and I'm excited that you're going to start taking back from it. You're going to take your life back.
Sorry, I didn't expect to be this much of an emotional mess, but here I am.
So that's basically the gist of the video. I think this comment actually kind of encapsulates everything pretty well. And this is from someone that seems to be supportive, right? It says, and I think you should seek help from a psychiatrist too. You can feel better with some treatment for your depression. I asked for help with antidepressants since years ago, and it changed my life. I think better. I don't suffer as much from the pain that is still there. I can treat the psychological issues better while medicated. I hope you see this, right? So I just think that there's basically what I'm trying to say is I think there's other issues that are there. And then I think on top of it, I think Anna really struggles with feeling like she has to basically be this superwoman because I think she feels that that's what her brand is. I think she feels that her brand is, even though I'm this big, I can do all of these things. And I think part of the frustration that she feels is because she is basically being made to come to reality of the condition that she's in, the size that her body is, the lipedema that she has. She can't be that person on Instagram that can make these reels of running and jumping and doing all of these things because her body literally cannot do that, right? This is something that we talk a lot about when it comes to being overweight, and as you get older, those things, they compound and it gets harder and harder for you. And so at the end of the day, like, I really do hope that Anna feels better when she ends up getting all the surgeries that she needs. I know she's already had one, but I hope that things end up being better for her. But I just hope that she can be a little bit more honest with herself and be more honest with maybe the audience that she has, and sharing those struggles that she was having as she's having them, instead of trying to hide them and then make people that are making videos saying, hey, maybe this isn't the best thing for you to do, to attack those people, right? I think that doesn't end up helping anyone. And yeah, so that's just kind of how I feel. I'm curious what y'all think down in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.